For 15 years, the Bleach fandom has asked the exact same question. Why didn't Sōsuke Aizen ever use his Bankai? Was it too weak? Did Kubo forget? Or was his Shikai just that broken? The real answer isn't that Aizen was holding back to show off. He couldn't release his true power, because the second he did, it would have ripped his own soul out of existence. Every single realm in Bleach has universal safety rails built into its physics. Soul Society, the world of the living, Hueco Mundo. They are all designed to keep massive spiritual pressure from collapsing reality in on itself, which means the most terrifying being in the universe was never fighting at full strength. He was fighting inside a padded cell, and there is only one realm left in the afterlife where those safety rails do not exist. Hell. To understand Aizen's real power, you have to look at what the Hōgyoku actually did to his body. Everyone thinks the Hōgyoku gave him immortality as a reward for his ambition. That's wrong. The Hōgyoku's regeneration is damage control. Aizen's soul is so dense, so completely off the scale of regular Shinigami, that his spiritual body is in a state of perpetual self-combustion. The Hōgyoku didn't just break his limiters, it became an emergency life support leash, constantly stitching his flesh and soul back together faster than his own power could disintegrate him. As long as Aizen stood in the Soul Society or the living world, his true release could never manifest. The atmospheric Reshi was simply too fragile to anchor it. He wasn't waiting for a worthy opponent. He was waiting for a world violent enough to survive his presence. Before we go further, if that's already reframing everything you thought you knew about Bleach's strongest villain, drop a comment and subscribe now, because what's waiting for him down there is worse than anyone's theorized. Enter the Hell Arc. Hell isn't built to balance souls, it's built to torment them. The rules of spiritual density don't apply here. The Reishi in Hell doesn't flow, it crushes. It is volatile, suffocating, and hostile to existence itself. In a realm with zero laws left to protect the self, the boundary between a Shinigami and their Zanpakutō collapses. Kyoka Suigetsu isn't an accessory anymore. It stops being a weapon Aizen commands and becomes a starving parasite, sharing the exact same deteriorating mind. The terrain of hell doesn't resist power. It shapes itself around the deepest agony of whoever enters it. And that brings us to the nightmare. Aizen's Bankai. His Shikai was art, complete hypnosis. A masterpiece of precision, elegance, and illusion, where you bled out before you even realized the sword had left its sheath. His Bankai isn't an illusion at all. There are no illusions left in hell. There is only hunger. Aizen's Bankai doesn't extend his control over his enemies. It consumes them. The moment it activates, the souls of every fallen captain, hollow, and sinner within miles aren't defeated. They are instantly pulled into an unquenchable spiritual furnace to fuel his expansion. And the sickest part? It doesn't ask Aizen for permission. For hundreds of years, Aizen plotted to conquer the heavens and sit atop the throne of God. In hell, his Bankai finally answered that wish, by making him its host. Look at the poetic cruelty of his fate. The old Aizen needed an army. He needed an espada. He needed the Soul King's throne, and he needed the entire Gotei 13 watching him rise. This version needs none of that. Down in the pit where no one is watching, he has tapped into an endless well of corrupt energy that the three worlds can never safely enter to stop. He finally got his throne. He finally reached the peak of godhood. He just has to rule it alone, in a realm of eternal decay, feeding his own blade souls forever, just to keep from being eaten alive. So here's the real question for the Hell Arc. Should Soul Society keep him buried in the dark forever? Or is a caged god in hell infinitely more dangerous than the one who stood on Sōkyoku Hill? Drop your theory in the comments right now. And if you want the full breakdown of how Hell's physics specifically unlock the hidden Bankais of the original Gotei 13, hit subscribe. Part 2 is already on the way.